So what I am doing tonight, I am planting a seed in you, in your mind. And I, as the pastor of the church, I have to sit back now and watch the next 10 months of this year as time go by to see you be transformed in the renewing of your mind so that you can make a nice deposit of transference into this ministry by the end of the year, if not sooner. And that could be transference of money, transference of a good attitude, transference of just being a good encouragement to the ministry, a transference of being a good witness, winning people to the church, bringing in new members into the fellowship. So you have to be asking yourself the question. I have to be asking myself the question. When I think about my life, what am I transferring? What am I working on in an orderly way in order to transfer to the next generation? What am I leaving behind as a legacy for someone else to inherit? So some people talking about, I don't want to go back to school. Right now I'm fighting with my wife for that. Because she thinks she's too old. She's 42 years. She's too old to go back to school. And my philosophy is, let's just say God give us 8 more years to live, so we live till we're 50. What you got to do between now and 50, that's 8 years. What you gonna do? It's better you go back to school and struggle and get some education and do some stuff, and at the age of 50 you got your degree. You might be able to get paid better than you get now. Because the 8 years is still going to pass. Time don't stop because you decide to do nothing. Time don't wait for you. So I say be productive and do something with your time. And at the end of your 8 years, when you reach 50 and you're celebrating your 50th birthday, you might be celebrating your 50th birthday with a better portfolio and have a better chance of getting a more professionally paying job because you have qualifications and degree. And besides that, you just challenge yourself and make a good example for your children. So we're fighting on that right now to get back in school. Some people say, Pastor, I ain't got time with that. I got time to make that money. Well, you can still make money and be in school. School has changed to way how it used to be. A long time you had to go to school, you had to be in a class. No, we got so much things to do. Nobody is supposed to be ignorant on this planet. We all supposed to be able to be transformed in the renewing of our mind where academics is concerned. We ought to want to learn and set a good example for our children. So that they alone ain't smart. We smart too. We know what we're about. And if you don't want no formal schooling, learn something. Don't tell me that you on this planet all this time you only know one thing. You only know to do 2 things. You only know 3 things. Well, you got to learn different things. And you got to become a person that can be handy in different areas, different ways. And so I want to leave this word of encouragement to you with you tonight as we talk about prayer. I hope that you sense the pattern in which we took this prayer ministry for these 3 days. The Holy Spirit dealt very differently, because I don't want us to be people who you know, all we're doing is just praying, you know, fasting, just praying. But all of that praying and fasting is not turning into a productive life. We're praying and we're fasting and we're doing all of that, we're getting more holy and all of that, but somehow it is not moving us in a different direction where finances are concerned, where productivity is concerned, where family, where marriage is concerned, where good business sense is concerned. So then what is the purpose for your prayer life? Our prayer life is not just to make sure that we don't go to hell and go to heaven. Our prayer life is to be able so that we can master life here on this planet. We can know the perfect will of God and we can navigate through life and we can be victorious. So that we don't live this life with a sense of burden all the time. So I want to caution you. When we have another time of prayer, when church comes up, when you have fasting, In your time of fasting, ask the Lord to speak to you, to share certain things with you. Tell him what you want him to tell you. Tell him what it is you want him to show you. Because when we come to the conference call and we talk about any testimony that you have, any word of encouragement and so on and so on and so on, that's what we want to hear. We want to hear that God spoke to you this week and told you, thus said the Lord. Now I heard Sister Diane say it, that she know God is going to move the ministry financially and things are going to change. If not tonight, tomorrow, if not tomorrow, sometime. But in the process of time, it will change. So that is a prophetic word, speaking prophetically over the ministry. So when we come to prayer and fasting, remember, it's not just us talking to God, praying and asking God for things, but it's God also talking to us. And that's what fasting does. It's supposed to kill the flesh. And we heard Elder Bourne talk about that tonight. Diane spoke about that tonight, in the sense that the flesh want to act up and tell somebody something. But when you begin to fast and pray, not eating and all those things is almost like if you don't even have the energy to cuss somebody out. Because you're not gratifying after the flesh, you're gratifying after the spirit. And the spirit has a different way that he teaches you, because you are being transformed by the renewing of your mind. And if that is so, at the end of your fasting, at the end of a life of a spiritual journey, you're supposed to have something to transfer into the earth, to leave a deposit for someone behind. And it's supposed to be a positive one. So this time of prayer really took a different tone. Instead of, the regular way of prayer requests, and we calling out and asking God for things and binding the devil and all of that stuff, which is appropriate and good. But I just felt in these 3 days that the Holy Spirit was saying, no, I want you guys to begin to get some knowledge, to get some wisdom, and in all you're getting, get understanding. Because my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. How do I transfer my prayer life and my fasting and all of those things? How do I bring that into a way that it makes sense for me on this planet? That I can live a more productive and prosperous life, a life of ease. So I don't walk around with that burden. I can't see my way. I can't make ends meet. No peace, no joy. So set your life in order and understand, whilst you're doing that's going to take some time. Why do you need to understand that? So that you don't get frustrated. You are being transformed. You are being changed. Change takes time. And at the end of your change, you're going to be able to transfer something that is needed in the world. Your experience, your endurance, your testimony, and hopefully to God be the glory, some money. Because we haven't spoken about it, because our ministry is still very young, in the sense of not only young in the age of the ministry, but young in the age of the people of the ministry. But as the ministry continues to grow, we're going to begin to talk about what you're going to leave for your church. So that's a financial plan. What you're going to leave as inheritance for your church in your will. Because when you write out your will, you got to leave some money for your church. We ain't talking no $2. But these are things that white people talk about, and these are things that white people plan, and these white pastors preach and talk about. But we need to get there. Writing out our will in such a way, leaving an estate for the church, taking out a life insurance policy, and making your church the beneficiary. So you have 2 life insurance policies, one that is for your family and so on, but one is for your church. And the same $20 that you take in to put in offering every Sunday, every month, so you pay your tithes and you give a $5 offering, you can take that same $5 and you can put the $20 and you can take out an insurance policy, and you can leave that money for the church as the beneficiary. because in the process of time it's going to mature. And even though we don't have no money now, it's looking good in the next 20 years if Jesus tarries. We're going to have something to transfer to the next pastor and to the next generation of Christians of Jacob's Well, so that they don't have to go through some of the financial burdens that we are going through presently. So when you watch larger ministries, don't feel they got their money, yesterday. Some of those monies just started coming in the last 25 years. But now it's matured because it had time to transfer and to be transformed, and now they're inheriting that. Hello?
Hello.
But that goes with planning and timing and organization and order and all of these things. So we are on to something here, and if you listen to me carefully and follow the instructions and understand these principles, I am telling you, I can't wait to hear the testimonies of people at the end of this year in our New Year's Eve service, how their lives have been changed, how they have been transformed, and how they are ready to make a transfer, and how God was able to transfer to them because of their obedience and because of their timing and order. God was able to transfer things into their lives, make a deposit into them.